I have this reoccurring dream where either driving or I'm just sitting down and the song comes on. And the first thing I think of is, oh man, I wish I made that beat right there. That is an amazing song. And as soon as I say that, I wake up and I realize that it's a song that's never been made. It's just my mind basically creating in my sleep. So I quickly grab my phone, I do a voice note, and put phone down, go back to sleep. And when I wake up, I try to match that voice note as close as possible. I can't explain that. It's just literally, I guess because I'm thinking about music all day, every day, my brain just never turns off. What's up? I'm Sounwave, born and raised Compton, California, music creator, blessed to have worked with some of my favorite artists such as Kendrick, Beyoncé, Taylor Swift, Marcus Mumford, Gabriel, just to name a few. Compton, California, it was very versatile, believe it or not. You had different variations of characters, I would say. The people who were just trying to get by, and you had the people who were just big dreamers, a big gumbo pot of just this community that I love so much, and it's engraved in my DNA. Everybody at Compton High was a rapper, but there was no producers. Back then, producers wasn't cool. It wasn't like you needed the big machines and all these other stuff. You couldn't just pull up a laptop and just make beats. So it was just like, oh, there's one guy in the school, he makes music. And when they found me, it would just became this thing of, oh, he's the music producer of Compton High. That was always for me. I was never trying to be a rapper. I mean, there was one time, but the production side was always my calling. My first big break is my boy, shout out to Bishop Lamont. He's a legend in Carson, California. He took me under his wing at an early age. I think I was like 16 at the time. I just remember him hearing some of my beats and was just like, oh, I see something in you. After that, I graduated high school. I have the radio song, but it wasn't really like crazy. It was just more so like local rappers coming to me, and I would literally sell beats from my window room for about $50 each. And it took me to about, I want to say the age of 22 or 23 where I got my next placement. So it was a wow. Kontakt for me is my closer. That's like when all is said is done, we figured out what we want to do, what the sonics are. Kontakt to me closes the album. That is what I go to just put everything and make it make sense together. Like the library there is just endless. I literally spend probably about, I want to say a week just shifting through sounds that I know is going to fit. And then the next following week, that's when I actually go in and produce with those sounds that I saved. How I browse it varies. Just like if I have a specific thing to do, I have my save set that I go through. But if it's just me start from scratch, first thing that gets me, believe it or not, is the color palettes. I love seeing aesthetically pleasing things, and then when I see the color that pops out to me, believe it or not, I'm gonna click that first, and 98.999% of the time, there's gonna be something in there that I just instantly get drawn to, and I just run with that. So yeah, I'm just gonna browse around Kontakt 7, see what new sounds they have. Maybe something to spark something. I start off sometimes with the drum, sometimes with the melody. I found this drum loop that I've been messing with. It's a little weird, a little different, but that's the mood I'm in right now. I wanna try something that's out the box, something new. So I'm just gonna loop that up for a second and try to find chords to match. We're gonna pull up Kontakt. I guess I'm feeling something warm. Something bright, I guess. Yeah, and it just felt like that has the potential to be something crazy once I get into it and tweak it up a little bit. So I'm gonna turn on the EQ. Right now, it's a little too bottom heavy, so I'm trying to brighten it up just a little. Mess with that. The most fun part of production for me is the beginning, figuring out what the hell we're about to do. As long as there's just an open mind of going beyond what's out there. Like if someone just said, I want something that no one has really heard, and then that's when I get this, like my whole brain just starts to have overflowing of just ideas, and that's how music's supposed to be. It's just limitless. The first time that I met Kendrick, it was this hole-in-the-wall studio in Gardena, California. There was this guy who was rounding up every great rapper and producer that he knew. And he was just trying to create this super group. And so we all got acquainted. We all started, having a rapport with each other. And I just remember this guy comes in, hoodie over his head, didn't say a word, 16 years old. He beeline straight into the booth. Didn't say nothing to nobody. And he was like, put a beat on. I put on the first beat I had, I was working on. It was a sample flip of Rock and Roll Gangster, and I want to say for about 15 minutes, he just freestyled like his life depended on it. And after that, no one wanted to go in the booth. And I was just like, yo, who is this dude? Someone tell me. And it was like, his name's Kontakt from Compton. I was like, oh, he from Compton too? Bet. First moment I would say that spark happened between me and Kendrick was when we both found out who we were. We grew up the same, had the same environment, same type of lifestyle, same family type. Everything was just like, he was just like my cousin. It's like, you know how you just have that favorite cousin? And he actually happened to be super talented as a rapper, and I just happened to be pretty decent as a producer. So it just felt right, it felt natural. It was just like not forced. It wasn't like, oh, I need to make this. I need to be a producer and make the greatest beats. And it was just, we loved what we did. We created what we did, and it just happened to work. I got the basis of the melody down. I'm gonna add to this. I wanna start with the new beats that they got for Kontakt 7. I need a kick, something hard. Feels right. We're gonna try to find a heavy kick, something to match the vibe, so. Let's try power. This is basically a loop that came already good to go with beats. And it feels good. I'm just gonna try to tweak it, make it feel a little bit more brighter, heavier, spacier, just to match the tone. I love trippier. The trippier, the better for me. Reverb it out. Flare. Not too much. See how that feels. The most important part of producing is your sounds. You have to spend days and weeks just recreating different types of instruments, if you will. Prior, I used to be that guy who put way too much in my beats. Like, I didn't think of a rapper or a singer. I just wanted it to be like the most cinematic explosions, hydraulics. It was just like, if you listen to my earlier beats, it was just like every sound that I love, I would try to jam it into one beat until, you know, you grow up and you learn, it's like, you gotta leave room for the actual artist. All right, so far, it's getting there. I'm just gonna add the bass to it now and see how that feels. The thing I have in mind right now is it gotta have bottom. I wanna be able to hear it, but I also wanna be able to feel it. So I gotta find something that you feel right in your chest. It's pretty weird. I love it. Usually I like to go vintage with the bass, try to find a good Juno sound. So I'm gonna try to beef it up, just with a light EQ on it. Only thing I hear right now is I just need to get in there and get that bass fine-tuned, make sure it's hitting that right note, make sure that bottom is there. Something weird, simple, feel-good record. To me, it just feels like a nice sunny day on Mars. Working with Marcus Mumford is, oh man, to me, that was one of the funnest sessions I had because a lot of people don't realize it, but I love folk music. And so when my guy Sam Taylor brought up this idea, I don't know if he knew that, but instantly I was like, yes, book it. Like, I'm already a fan. Let's go in there, let's figure out what happens. He was a fan of mine, and he was just like, what you do is what I want to do. So we were able to just get in and just create from scratch, and we created 2 amazing records. Building worlds for artists is always like, the best for me is when it's just coming in, clean slate. There's no limit, if you will. Like, there's no, oh, it has to feel like right in this section, this genre. It's like, when you come in, you're like, you want to make something that feels good. Doesn't matter what it is. As long as it feels and speaks to me, like, that's when I can be myself 100% and just be able to, like, put all my guards down. That's when I get the best product. The one thing that I have not done yet, and I keep on pushing it back, is create my own project. It's long overdue. I always start it, and I end up just giving those, like, songs that I started away. But it's time for me to lock myself in and just actually create my world, my album, my, you know, my moment. I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be known as like the biggest producer. I just want to be respected for what I did. I don't need the accolades and whatnot. I just want to be able to do what I love and have the people who appreciate it. Like, if you know your product is good, you gotta actually stop being scared. Don't just sit in there and be like, all right, I'm gonna say this till when I run into a little baby or something. It's like, nah, bro, you gotta get out there. Like, knock on these doors and go to these studio sessions. Get a studio job. Like, I've been through it all. Like I said, sold beats for $50 to the homies down the street. And it's just, like, when that time comes, just be ready for it.